Y'all know Mick. My cousin who knocked that lady out over there in the Walmart because she was too close to her granddaughter during COVID time. She kept asking the lady, could you please back up? And the lady wouldn't back up. And then, by the third time, the lady was on the floor. Oh, my life, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and tip your favorite narrator via Cash App at $NayRob on YouTube. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Hey y'all, the paying members, they already know. Now, you all will know. Let's begin reading Angel on My Shoulder by Natalie Cole. Y'all, don't forget, the puppies are right here. Well, there's one and there's two. So if you hear snorts and grunts and stuff like that, you know it's the puppies. Well, Lulu's 3. The baby ain't a year yet. You might think of Lala as the quintessential Henry Higgins. And like Eliza Doolittle, my elegant mother would have passed for a duchess at any snooty patootie society ball, even though her father had been a mailman. What? Her father was a mailman? That's crazy. Well, my mama used to dance. So I really looked up to her. She was very much a lady, and I loved getting into her dressing room and being surrounded by all her perfumes and makeup. She always smelled good, and she was bigger than life to me, which is ironic because when I think of my dad, I don't think of him the same way. She was very organized and she was very formal. Yet she loved to host parties, and she didn't mind too much if we were around. She didn't cook, but we had great meals. My mom gave me all the femininity and all the prissiness that I have, and her wonderful taste and class, most of which she herself learned at Lala's knee. Lala was big on culture, and young ladies were supposed to develop their talents in the arts. Then she goes on to speak about these books called childcraft books. I've never heard of them before. She said she would read the poems and she would put the poems to songs, and that was part of the reason that she had started writing, because of the poems that she read in the childcraft books. If you all have heard about those before, please let me know, because I don't think I've heard of those before. But anyway, that's where a little bit of the desire was planned in me to write songs. I would sing into a microphone and listen to the playback. It was a big giggle for me, but I certainly wasn't dreaming of a career as a singer. The first time I sang in public was on a Capitol recording called I'm Goodwill, Your Christmas Spirit. I was 6. A woman named Beth Norman had written a Christmas story and a song. She was going to read the story, and she asked Dad if I wanted to sing it. Of course, she also got him to pose with me for the record jacket, even though he didn't sing on the record. My job was to be the voice of the angel, a little singing voice that would tithe the narrative together with brief solos in between sections of the story. By this time, I'd already been on Art Linkler's house party. I have no independent memory of it, only what people have told me. But supposedly, I said something about having to go to the bathroom. They're still doing potty humor on TV. We never seem to grow out of it. That was his specialty, of course, getting kids to blurt out double entendres or to inadvertently divulge family secrets. There was a little boy who said, "My dad told me not to tell my mommy about his girlfriend." They actually aired that show. This was all grist for a series of bestsellers Linkletter put together called Kids Say the Darndest Things. Even though I loved to perform and sang throughout my childhood, singing was not something I dreamed of doing as a grown-up. First, I wanted to be an airline stewardess. Didn't we all? Didn't we all? As a grown woman now who have been on planes, baby, to sit on a goddamn plane with all that up and down, I wouldn't make it. I'd be throwing up, but I just loved the uniform. I love the uniform. Them jokers was, and what's surprising is you had to be a thin white woman, I thought, so you can get down the aisles. When I be seeing them thick black airline stewardess with them hips and ass, I be like, how do you get down the aisles with all them hips and asses? But they do. First, I wanted to be an airline stewardess. Didn't we all? I just liked those little uniforms and the idea of seeing the world. Me too. I just said that. I love the uniform. After that, I had wanted to be a doctor. A dream that came in several different flavors. Surgeon, pediatrician, psychologist, and lasted until I got into college. Being a singer was never in the running. To me, the point of singing was to get attention, especially Dad's attention. Cookie and I worked up rather elaborate little shows for my parents whenever my dad was home. Me too. I'm sure a lot of us did. Sometimes we would show off for company, but often enough we didn't even need an audience. We would just put on a show for ourselves. My sister impressed me with her ability to mimic at an early age. One year, Cookie entered a talent show dressed up as a man. She did an act as jazz pianist Ahmed Jamal. She borrowed Dad's jacket, his shoes, and his hat, and she pretended to play his hit song, Poinciana. She got all the moves right and sounded great. It was my first time seeing anyone do that, and I was amazed. It is not surprising that as an adult, she became an accomplished actress. Cookie loved Broadway and Broadway show tunes. She is one of the reasons I am so enthusiastic about Broadway musicals to this day. Baby, when I tell you I have always been in love with musicals my entire life, I don't know why, but I haven't watched The Sound of Music in years. I just downloaded the Sound of Music soundtrack to my phone, and I'm like, I should have been downloaded this. Why haven't I downloaded this? Every song in that soundtrack has meaning and it makes you feel good. It's a great musical, y'all. And if you've never seen it before, I encourage you to do it. It's about love and coming of age and about surviving as a family during wartime. Excellent. Julie Andrews did an amazing job. She had records of all the shows, and I would sit in her room and listen to them or act them out. We went several times to New York when we were young. My parents kept an apartment. Our godparents took us to shows as well. And my mother really encouraged that. I still don't think I have seen many better musicals than the ones I saw as a child. Word. I saw Damn Yankee, Lil Abner, My Fair Lady, The Sound of Music, Gypsy, The King and I, South Pacific, Oklahoma, Peter Pan, and my absolute all-time favorite, West Side Story. Y'all, when I tell you that's my jiggle right there, girl. West Side Story, baby. Oh. Dad recorded an album of songs from My Fair Lady in 1964 and lots of show tunes on other albums. He did the Surrey with the fringe on top, but on the whole beat. Baby, what's problem? What's problem, baby? Huh? What's wrong with you? Huh? Why you looking at me like that? You mad at me? Huh? My baby is nuts. Dad recorded an album of songs from My Fair Lady, 1964, and lots of show tunes on other albums. He did the Surrey with the fringe on top, but on the whole, he probably sang more tunes from Hollywood than from Broadway. He never did anything on stage from the Broadway shows. He took me to see as a child, but once I started singing, I sure did. Broadway was really a major musical influence on me. As a young girl, I'd heard some of the greatest music from the American repertoire, and I knew them all by heart. I could have sung them backwards, forwards, left, and right, and without missing a beat. I studied. So what I got from The Sound of Music, same thing with West Side Story, my grandmother had 8-track tapes of those soundtracks. Once she knew that we enjoyed it, she would make sure that we could bring the experience home with us. So she made sure that we had the 8-track tape. I told you, my maternal grandmother wasn't a game. She was not to be played with. My paternal grandmother was about accomplishments. You hear me? And getting shiz done. You can have anything you want in life. These are the steps you take. You make sure you do it. And my mother, being a government employee, she made sure that I knew everything that I was supposed to have in regards to insurances and pensions and savings. Anyway, my maternal grandmother made sure that we could continue the experience. And me and Mick, y'all know Mick, my cousin who knocked that lady out over there in the Walmart because she was too close to her granddaughter during COVID time. She kept asking the lady, could you please back up? And the lady wouldn't back up. And then, by the third time, the lady was on the floor. And all the people was like, oh my God, she's dead. And the grandkids was like, she ain't dead. She just got knocked out. That Mick. So what me and Mick would do was study those songs, and we knew them backwards and forwards from beginning to end. Do you know how many songs are on the Sound of Music soundtrack, baby? It was just a way for us to continue to relive the experience. The first time I was ever on stage with my father, I definitely did not sing. It was the summer of 1957 when he was performing at the Cal Neva Lodge in Lake Tahoe. He was on stage performing, and I just wandered out from behind the curtain, a little 7-year-old in pigtails looking lost. I must have been trying to mimic him or sing with him. There's the ham in me again, because I remember that the audience was screaming with laughter, and he didn't understand why until he turned around, and there I was. Pause. Y'all, what do you think about Beyonce putting her daughter Rumi out there? Beyonce put it out there. This is what she says, but I believe Beyonce ain't opposed to lying, because I know that her mammy Tina ain't opposed to lying, but I don't know them. I don't want no problems from you, Beehive bitch. Beyonce said that Blue Ivy went to her and said, Mom, I want to perform. Her enthusiasm in the tour before this did not say that. Her enthusiasm was, Mama, I'm over it. This time, she getting to the money. You hear me? That goddamn Blue Ivy is something vicious. I be like, damn, is that Blue Ivy or is that her mama? She vicious with it. For us older people, we will believe, she maybe shouldn't be gyrating like that, but now it's all a part of performing. Shaking your booty is all a part of performing. Now, I don't know whether Blue Ivy heard what some of the critics were saying about her performance being lackluster in the first tour, and she said, not this time, Mama, I'm gonna get to it. Or she just got it. Beyonce knows that them knees ain't got it no more. When you performing like that, like these basketball players, they can't perform like that. They can't, you know, dancers are like athletes. You can't perform like that for years and years and years. Beyonce been squatting and kicking and flipping for 20 years. She can't do it no more. Blue Ivy, I need you to do it. Now, why Rumi is there? I don't know. I just don't know. Maybe Rumi said, Mommy, I want to do it. The grandmother, Tina knows, you know, I don't want to fuck it, then I'ma say it. How dare you say that you was your most miserable with Richard Lawson? Don't forget that Tina Knowles and her husband, Matthew Knowles, were friends with Richard Lawson and his wife. I must have been trying to mimic him or sing with him. There's the ham in me again. Because I remember that the audience was screaming with laughter and he didn't understand why until he turned around and there I was. He laughed too. But he made sure that in the future I was not running around backstage unsupervised when he was performing. As I became older, I was always in the audience rather than backstage. I wanted to sit and watch. I just enjoyed watching him perform, you know. He was funny and he was fun. And I got a big kick out of sitting there and watching the people react to that person who was my dad on stage. I remember when I started performing, one of the things that I wanted most of all was to be able to make the room so quiet and wrapped with attention that you could hear a pin drop, because that's what my dad was able to do. When that finally happened for me, I was so happy that I cried. That meant they really wanted to listen to me. The first time I ever saw my father perform was at the Hollywood Bowl. At that time, there was a reflecting pool right in front of the stage. And from where I was sitting, I was afraid he would fall in. Even at the age of 7, I could not fail to be impressed by two things. First, he loved what he did and was very good at it. Second, he had an electrifying effect on the audience. Of course, my childhood wasn't all music.